Although it's still technically autumn here in the UK, it doesn't look like it out there, and it definitely doesn't feel like it. It feels like we're in the depths of winter, and I'm doing my best to stay warm. And out of interest, what's the weather like where you are? Because it's -3 here at the moment, and that's colder than I can handle. Anyway, even though I'm complaining about the temperature, I do feel like I'm well prepared for the winter this year. But are you? Well, let's find out. In this video, I'm going to be talking about the winter essentials that everyone needs in their wardrobe, so let's see how many you've got. Anyway, I should probably stop waffling on now because we've got a lot to get through, so yeah. If you like this video at any point, please do leave it a like. And now that's all out the way, let's get into the video. So the first essential is a puffer jacket or a down jacket. Now, I hadn't actually owned a puffer jacket until last year, and I don't know what I was thinking. These things are an absolute lifesaver, and now I've got one, I don't know how I coped without one. And if you don't already own one of these, then seriously get yourself one, you won't regret it. But the one I've got is a pretty affordable option from Weekday, and although it's not the warmest on the market, it definitely does the job, especially if I layer underneath it. But I love the look of these. They go with pretty much everything, and yeah, they make you look hench too, which is always nice. But what I look for in a puffer jacket is something with a slight crop in the body, a bit of a boxy fit, and something that's going to keep you warm, obviously. And if you want something else that looks great, then a flight jacket is a great option for the winter too. But a flight jacket, they've got a shearling inner, so they're going to keep you nice and toasty, nice and warm, and if you get yourself a decent one, they look incredible. And if you don't like either of those jackets for whatever reason, not sure why you wouldn't, but you might not, then an overcoat is another great option for the winter. Just make sure you get one with a decent weight to it that's made out of wool, otherwise it's not going to keep you warm. Don't try and cut corners with these, it's worth spending a little bit extra to get something decent. And depending on where you live, you're probably going to need to layer under one of these in the winter, so make sure you've got enough room to layer underneath. Personally, with overcoats, I like something with a relaxed fit anyway. I like a drop shoulder, and I like something that comes down below my knee. I like the longer look with these, but do whatever works for you. The next essential is cashmere gloves. Of course, you could get a wool pair and they'd be absolutely fine, but why not treat yourself a bit? Introduce a bit of luxury into your life and get a cashmere pair instead. Cashmere is also warmer and softer than wool, so it can be worth the extra price sometimes, especially since you're going to be touching it all day. It's nice to have something soft. And if your hands get as cold as mine in the winter, then it's always good to have something that's actually going to keep them warm. I've got something called Raynaud's disease, so my hands get really cold in the winter. Does anyone else out there have this, or is it just me? And if you don't know what Raynaud's is, then I probably should explain it. It's basically just bad blood circulation to your hands and feet. So calling it a disease sounds a little bit extreme to me, but I didn't come up with the name. Mr. Raynaud did. Anyway, enough about Mr. Raynaud. I've had enough of him. Back to fashion. But Uniqlo and Arket have got some great options for these for a decent price. I think they're about £35. But what I will say is Uniqlo's are 100% cashmere, whereas Arket's are only 70%. But I do actually prefer the look of Arket's gloves over the Uniqlo gloves. So the next thing that I want to talk about are wool trousers. Now, most people in the winter protect the top half of their body, but they forget about their poor legs. So take care of those poor legs, please, and they'll thank you for it. But wool trousers make a huge difference in the cold, and they're an absolute must in the winter, in my opinion. You can get pairs in all different thicknesses, and obviously the thicker the trouser, the warmer they're going to be. But what I do is I like to go for one that's thick enough to keep me warm in the winter, but not too thick where I can't wear them for the rest of the year. See, I'm always thinking about my purchases and how I can get the most from them, and I'd encourage you to do the same. But Acne Studios and Our Legacy make some of my favourite trousers out there. They are more expensive, but they're worth the price in my opinion. But I understand if you don't want to spend that kind of money on trousers, and if you don't, then I'd recommend checking out Uniqlo, COS and Arket instead. Oh, and if you want something thicker, then corduroy is also a great option. I don't wear corduroy currently myself. I've got nothing against it, I just don't own any trousers of corduroy types, but I might get some in the winter, who knows. But yeah, the shops that I've just mentioned have all got corduroy options too. The next essential is a pair of black boots. Now, it goes without saying that boots are perfect for the winter, and I'm loving them at the moment. And for daily wear, I normally like to go for a combat style boot or a chunky Chelsea boot. I feel like these boots go with pretty much everything, and they give off more of a relaxed look. Also, UGG boots are going to be very popular this winter, and they'll keep your feet lovely and warm. But I'll leave some good options in the description below below, but basically make sure you've got a decent pair of black boots for the winter. Next up, we've got knitted sweaters. Now, knitted sweaters are the first thing that I think about when I think of winter. That and eating way too much in the holidays. But yeah, you need a knitted sweater. And like most of my tops, what I like to go for is a slight crop in the body and more of a boxy fit, and something in wool. Well, wool, merino wool, cashmere and alpaca. Those are all great options to keep you warm in the winter. But just be careful out there, because a lot of jumpers are listed as wool jumpers or wool blend jumpers, and they're blended with a load of random stuff, and they're only like 10 or 20% wool. So make sure you look at the materials when you're buying your jumpers. My favorite brand when it comes to knitwear is Acne Studios. They've got some beautiful looking pieces, and the cuts are beautiful too. If you want more of a streetwear look, then I'd recommend the brand Cole Buxton. They've got some lovely options too. Oh, and also I'm loving Studio Nicholson's knitwear at the moment. It looks lovely. And again, if you don't want to spend as much, then check out Uniqlo, COS and Arket. They have some lovely options too. Or if you don't want to buy one, then knit one. Now, believe it or not, I used to knit when I was younger, but I haven't done it for years, so I'm a bit out the loop. But talking about loops, we've got the scarf next. So a scarf for the winter, groundbreaking stuff. Yes, I know, obviously they're for the winter, but I'm going to tell you what sort of scarf I look out for. So when it comes to scarves, I'd recommend something with a decent length, a decent width to it, get something quite wide, and with tassels on the end. Now, honestly, I do find scarves really annoying to wear. They always get in the way, but the warmth is worth it. And if, like me, you wear a lot of neutral colours, quite monochromatic outfits, then a colourful scarf or a patterned scarf can add a nice pop of colour to your outfit. The next essential is a thick pair of cozy socks. Groundbreaking stuff again, I know, warm socks for the winter, but I'm going to tell you a few brands to check out. The first is Rototo or Rototo. I'm pretty sure it's Rototo. And the second is Anonymousism. Oh, and also Beams do some lovely looking socks. So yeah, it seems like the Japanese know what they're doing when it comes to cozy socks. Now, warm socks in the winter are an absolute essential for me, especially with my disease that makes my hands cold and my feet cold. But I think even if you don't have Raynaud's disease, then I still think you should have some thick socks, especially when you're wearing your boots. You want to be cozy, you want to be warm, so get yourself some decent socks. The next essential I've got are thermals. Now, winter is all about layering, and you need to make those layers count. Now, I get most of my thermals from Marks & Spencer's, good old Marks & Sparks, and also Uniqlo's Heat Tech range is another great option. The next essential that you might have heard of is a hoodie. Now, a hoodie is an absolute must in the winter. They're such a versatile piece. You can wear them on their own, or you can wear them underneath your puffer jacket, your overcoat, or whatever else you want to throw over the top. They will work with most things. For those of you on a budget, then I'd recommend Uniqlo's basic hoodie. I've got one and I wear it all the time. But if you do have more to spend, then I'd probably recommend Cole Buxton, Ami Paris, and Lady White. They all have some great options. Also, I haven't tried them out yet, but Studio Du Jour makes some lovely looking hoodies. Studio Du Jour is a brand by fellow YouTuber Nathan Griffiths, or Style by Nate on YouTube. And yeah, I think he's done a great job. Oh, and I'm also looking forward to seeing more from Daniel Simmons' brand. I saw a hoodie in one of his recent videos and it looked beautiful. Now, the next item we've got is a fleece. Now, I remember when I was a kid at school, the fleece was one of the most unfashionable items that you could possibly wear. But now everyone loves them, including myself. And I don't know what I was thinking about as a kid, but thinking about being practical was something I definitely wasn't doing. But I think the fleece is a lovely layering piece, a lovely little rhyme for you there as well. But I also think they look great on their own. These days you're spoiled for choice. There's so many fleeces out there, but my recommendation would be one from Carhartt. They do some lovely looking options for a decent price. And if you do want something that's a little bit more fancy and you don't mind spending a lot more money, then this one from Ami Paris looks lovely in my opinion. And again, Daniel Simmons has got some lovely looking fleeces, some of the nicest that I've seen actually. So yeah, I'd recommend you check them out as well. And the cherry on the top for your winter outfit to keep you warm is a beanie. Now, I'm afraid finding the right beanie for you can be a struggle, but if you want some advice on them and to see me struggle finding one, then check out the video I did recently on the channel. But if you enjoyed this one, please do leave it a like. If you're new here, don't forget to hit subscribe, and I will see you all next week. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. See you later.